Hello students, welcome to SR Concepts. I am Ravi Verma and in this video we will discuss the classification of kingdom Animalia. We know that kingdom Animalia includes the organisms which are multicellular, eukaryotic and have ingestive mode of nutrition, that is also called holozoic mode of nutrition, in which an organism ingests the food inside the body and the digestion of the food takes place inside the body but extracellularly, means outside the cells. Restaurants, the kingdom Animalia, right, called animals, are also actually divided on different basis of classification, on the basis of different features, right? For example, the type of symmetry of the body, the type of level of organization, right? The type of body cavity, right? The number of germ layers and the presence of segmentation, right? So there are different criteria for classification. These criteria have been discussed in the online classes and we will discuss here. We will start here the first phylum, that is phylum Porifera. Okay, so phylum Porifera, the organisms, here you can see that the organisms in this picture you can see certain examples of phylum Porifera, right? The term Porifera originates from the presence of pores on these animals. So on the body wall of all these animals there are a number of pores which are called ostia. Because of this the phylum is called phylum Porifera. Dear students, the water enters into their body, right, from these pores which are called ostia, and then exits from the body through a very big pore that is called osculum in many of these sponges, right? However, this circulation of water becomes more and more complex in more and more evolved animals of this phylum. Dear students, these all organisms are found exclusively in water, and most of the sponges are actually found in marine waters. Very small number of poriferans are found in fresh waters. For example, this spongilla is a freshwater sponge, right? Dear students, there are certain more specialities of these animals. For example, means this circulation of water brings in food, right, and oxygen along with the water. Once once the food has entered inside the body, it gets digested. Then the waste of the food is also going out by the help of this circulating water. Oxygen enters along with the water and leaves the carbon dioxide leaves the body along with the water. In this way we can say that this circulation of water actually performs three functions. One is the nutrition, second is the respiration, and the third one is the excretion, also means removal of the waste products. Dear students, they all have an exoskeleton, right? Exoskeleton means they have spicules on their body. Okay, the body design involves very minimal differentiation and division into the tissues. That means the level of organization in poriferans is actually tissue level, and the symmetry is actually asymmetrical or radial symmetry. Means the body of animals is either radially symmetrical or asymmetrical like this. Okay, now let's discuss the next phylum, that is the phylum Coelenterata. So if we discuss about this phylum Coelenterata, they again are found in water, right, and they show more body design differentiation. Means their body have formation of tissues, means in their body there are tissues, right? In poriferans there were no tissue formations, there were different cells performing different functions, but tissue formation was not there in poriferans. In Coelenterata, the cells of the similar kind get accumulated into the aggregates, right, which perform a particular function. Such aggregates of the cells are called tissues. So we can say that in coelenterate animals tissues are actually found, but the tissues do not organize into organs, means they do not make any organs. So we can say that the level of organization in coelentrates is tissue level organization. There is a body cavity which is called a coelentron cavity, right? Coelentron cavity, and the body is made up of two cell layers, right? One makes up cells on the outer side of the body and the other makes cells in the inner side of the body. So this is why they are called diploblastic animals, means having their embryo have two layers. The inner one is called endoderm, the outer one is called ectoderm, right? The endoderm and ectoderm, there are two cell layers, and these two cell layers give rise to different structures, different tissues of the body. The symmetry in these animals is radial symmetry, means their body can be cut into two identical halves from or by the help of any plane that passes through their central axis, right? Some of these live in colonies, for example corals, while others have solitary lifespan like hydra. This much is enough. Now the term nidaria actually comes from the term nidoblasts, which are the specialized cells found in the tentacles of these animals. Here you can see these are the tentacles and they have the stinging cells. These are called nidoblasts. Nidoblasts. The specialized cells also called the stinging cells, and these are used for the paralyzing the prey of the animals, right? To paralyze other animals in order to eat them, right? The sting cells or nidoblasts are used, which are present in the tentacles. Now if we talk about platyhelminths, the animals have a little bit more evolutionary steps. For example, the symmetry in these animals is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means that the body can be cut into two identical halves, which are called left and right halves, from only one plane passing through their central axis, right? The level of organization in these animals is organ level organization. That means the body has organs. That means the tissues have organized into the organs, right? Such a group of tissues which perform a particular big function. Another thing is that they are triploblastic. Triploblastic means they have three different layers in their embryo: 1, 2, and 3. The outer one called ectoderm, the inner one called endoderm, and the middle one called mesoderm, right? These three different layers are present in the embryo, and each one of them gives rise to different tissues, different organs, and different structures of the body. Now dear students, what is written here? Let's see, something is written here. However, there is no true internal body cavity or coelom in which well developed organs can be accommodated. The body is yes, so there is no true coelom cavity, right? The body is flattened dorso-ventrally, means it is flat, right? That's why the term is platyhelminths, means the body is flat. It is chapty, flat, right? So this is why they are called flatworms. Also they are also called flatworms. Okay, so they are either free living or parasitic. They may have two types of lives, right? A particular individual organism may be either free living or parasitic. For example, planaria are the free living platyhelminths, right? While the parasitic animals like liver fluke is a parasite. So dear students, here you can see there are three organisms of this phylum: planaria, liver fluke, and tapeworm. Planaria is free living, liver fluke and tapeworm both are the parasites. So these are actually the worms. They are the parasitic worms, and for worms we use the term helminths, right? So they are platyhelminths, means flat worms. Okay, next comes the phylum Nematoda. This is also called SK helminths. There is certain evolution here at this point. What is that evolution? First of all, actually it has bilateral symmetry. This is the same as present in the platyhelminths, right? Second, they have organ system level organization. So here is the evolution, that in these organ systems are found. In platyhelminths only organs are found, but in these organisms organ systems have been developed, means different organs organized together and work as a unit for a particular big function. Such a group of organs is called organ system. So I hope the concept is very much clear to you, that nematodes have organ system level organization. However, their body is not flattened, their bodies are cylindrical, right? As you can see in this example Ascaris, you can see the body is something like this, rounded, means has a rounded means body. They are not flat, right? So that's why they are also called the roundworms. And many of these are actually the parasites, right? What are these parasites? Let's look at this. For example, this organism Ascaris is a very frequent cause of infection in children, right? This causes infection in the alimentary canal, right? And we generally use that deworming tablet albendazole for this purpose. However, this is given only on the advice of the doctors, right? And so the disease caused by this helminth is Ascariasis, that is called Ascariasis. And Wuchereria is a parasite which causes a disease known as elephantiasis, because the legs become very heavy due to swelling, and they become heavy just like an elephant. That's why the disease is called elephantiasis, also known as filariasis, or that's why this organism is also called filarial worm, because the disease is called filariasis or elephantiasis. All right, so this was all about the nematodes, right? And these are again the triploblastic organisms. And yes, one thing is very important to note, that in these animals there is certain type of body cavity is found, that is called a pseudocoelom cavity. Pseudocoelom cavity. So this pseudocoelom cavity is actually just an evolutionary step. The platyhelminths had no coelom cavity, they are called acoelomates, and these organisms are called pseudocoelomates, right? Pseudocoelomates. Okay, so next let's come to the next phylum, right? Phylum Annelida. Dear students, as the name suggests, that these organisms have annulus like structures, means as you can see that the organisms are, the body is divided into very long very large number of segments which are annular segments, right? So rounded ring like segments, that's why they are called annular segments, right? So this is why from this ring like segments the term Annelida was originated. These segments are actually called metameric segments, and this type of feature is called metameric segmentation. So what is written here? Annelids animals are also bilaterally symmetrical. Again, the symmetry is bilateral. They are triploblastic, but in addition they have a true coelom cavity. They have a true coelom cavity, means the mesoderm was split into two layers, an external and internal, and between the two layers of the mesoderm a space was originated, that is called true coelom cavity. And the benefit or the advantage of the true coelom cavity is that it allows true organs to be packed in the body structure, means it gives a proper space for development of certain well developed internal organs, right? If there is no such space, then where the organs will develop? So for development of larger and more efficient organs, a particular space is provided. That space is the coelom cavity, which is developed by the splitting of mesoderm, right, into two layers. So there is extensive organ differentiation, means there are very efficient and larger number of organs developed inside these animals, right? So this differentiation occurs in a segmental fashion with segments lined up one after the other from head to tail. Means the body is divided into many segments and every segment has certain repeating organs or certain repeating structures. These animals are again found in a variety of habitats. For example, they are found in fresh water, they are found in marine water, and they are found in land as well, right? So the examples, well known examples, are the earthworm, nares, and leech. Dear students, once again, they are the bilaterally symmetrical animals, they are triploblastic animals, they have true coelom cavity, so they are called eucoelomates. Another feature added, that was the metameric segmentation. So this annelida is very important because there are two important functions, there are two important features were added. One was the true coelom cavity, that is coelom cavity, right? And another feature, that was the presence of metameric segmentation in these animals. Hope you got the concept. In the next video we will be covering more certain more phyla of the animal kingdom. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel and share the video also. Thank you.